Hi everyone, I am Angelo A. Civiliano, and we are going to tackle the GDP or the Gross Domestic Product of the Philippines in the past 10 years. So what is the GDP of the Philippines in the past 10 years? And what are the performances of the Philippines to improve its GDP in the past 10 years? Does the Philippines suffer to improve its GDP in the past 10 years? Well, let's find out. The GDP of the Philippines grew by 6.8% in the fourth quarter of 2012, with a robust of the services sector, trade and real estate, renting and business activities, as well as the substantial improvements in manufacturing and constructions. The household final consumption, together with the government spending, the recovery of the capital information, and the remarkable performance of the external trade contributed to healthy growth economy in the fourth quarter. On an annual basis, the gross national income and the net primary income expanded by 5.8% and 3.3% in the 2012 from 3.2% and 1% respectively in 2011. The NPI, or the net primary income, increased by 0.9% in 2012 from 6.2% in the same period in 2011. Meanwhile, seasonally, the adjustments of the Philippines GDP and the GNI grew by 1.5% and 1.2% respectively during the fourth quarter. The agriculture, hunting, forestry and fishing, and the services sector rose by 0.1% and 1.2% respectively, while the industry sector expanded by 2.5% due to the growth of the constructions and manufacturing. With the robust economic growth in 2012, the GDP per capita of the Philippines accelerated to 4.8% from 2.2% in 2011, while the GNI per capita climbed by 4.0% from 1.5% in 2011. On the other hand, the per capita household final consumption expenditures is slightly decelerated to 4.4% from 4.5%. The GDP of the Philippines grew by 6.9% as a whole of 2012 than the last year. The Philippine GDP ranked 41st in 2012 with $261.9 million out of 196 countries. Meanwhile, the GDP per capita of the Philippines in 2012 was $2,751, higher than in 2011. To view the evolutions of the GDP per capita of the Philippines outlook. However, a weak global activity of the Philippines and uncertain economic outlook pose downside risks that the Philippines encountered. The Philippines needs more structural reforms that are needed to create as well as more jobs as an overall labor market to achieve a more inclusive growth patterns to take full advantage of opportunities. However, the economy needs to shift from consumptions to investment and from the low-wage and low-skilled services to labor-intensive manufacturing and high-value services by the support of the rising agriculture of the country. Economically, the output of the country represents how productive the countries are, and it's very important to understand how those various sectors work to play as a main vital role in the economy of the country.